Sir, what is your opinion and how you think, how you going to treat, or you have any protocol to treat this COVID-19 patients? Please explain to our viewers.
Sir, thank you very much for this kind honor. It is indeed so distressing for us to see how many people are dying across the world. Now, I will give a brief overview of this entire thing. Looking at the way the virus is and how any virus is, what does a virus do? The moment it gets a chance, it jumps to a human and starts to replicate. Now, what will a human do is it will initiate the initial defense processes of viral immunity. When the body realizes that it is not having the requisite capacity, what can the body do? It can arrest viral replication by increasing the body temperature. Now, this happens few days, 1 or 2 days after the virus has gained access to the body. Now, what should we as humans do? The moment we have the prodromal symptom, that is a slight itch or a pain in the throat, a slight feverish feeling, a feeling of tiredness, slight temperature, instantly we can assist the body in its second line of defense, and that is by increasing our own body temperature. If you observe, when animals become sick, what do? They straight go and sit in bright hot sunlight, thereby increasing their body temperature. How can we do that? By frequent sipping of hot water. I repeat again, by frequent sipping of hot water. Keep hot water in a flask, half a glass every 15 minutes. Keep sipping until you sweat.
Sizzling hot?
Sizzling hot, keep it in a flask, take half a glass, and then tolerable temperature. You can't be burning and scalding your mouth by it, but tolerable hotness, and keep sipping, which is tolerable. Now, when you keep doing that, when the body temperature increases by 1 degree Celsius, what does the body do? It attempts to bring it down because it is not yet ready for an immune fight through temperature, and therefore we start sweating. The moment you start sweating, it is a clear indication that the body temperature has gone up. Now, if you keep doing that throughout the day, for the next 2 days, that is 48 hours time, viral replication will stop and the body's innate antiviral defense mechanism will kick in and completely inactivate the virus and kill it. That is how it should be.
Suppose I am doing exercise, I am sweating, and definitely the body temperature will increase. Whether it will also be effective?
No, that will not help. Because I have come across reports saying that you should do hot water gargle. That is not enough. You need to keep hot water in a flask and keep sipping hot water till you start sweating.
Question is about the exercise.
Yeah, no, exercise and this has no relevance. If a person feels that he is getting infected, or even I often tell, if you have gone to an epidemic zone where there is known case of coronavirus, come back for the next 48 hours, keep sipping hot water till the body temperature increases. In that 48 hours time, the body's immune defenses will kick in and clear the viral load. What is the prime intent? To clear off the viral load and kill it. Now, why are people dying? When you look at why are people dying when the immune system is not adequate enough? So, therefore, our focus should be to increase the immune levels of the population at large. Now, as you know, earlier, many years back, during my post-graduation, my prime research and thesis was on immunology and infections. At that time, I had a massive file only on zinc. What is the basis of the immune system of the human body? Primarily, it is red, which is why when we say an apple a day keeps the doctor away. Why do we say an apple? Because when you cut an apple, it becomes red, showing it has a rich content of iron. Earlier, we knew that if we had adequate iron stores, the body's immunity will increase. The second thing of immunity is zinc. Zinc is the second cornerstone of immunity. And of course, we had Linus Pauling, a double Nobel laureate, who talked about vitamin C. Now, the main defense mechanism that first kicks in is called humoral immunity, which is antibodies. And to create antibodies, we must have adequate amino acids. What do you mean by amino acids? We get amino acids from... Now, let us have a look at the nature's ingredients which will give these things. Number 1, amino acids by sprouts. Number 2, vitamin C from fresh lime. Number 3, iron, either apple or black raisins. It is black because of its iron content. And number 4, zinc. The high zinc content is in papaya, watermelon seeds. So if you have either these as natural ingredients or if you have them as supplements, to a large extent the body gets a fighting chance to fight this virus. I have treated countless children by just these supplements, and many parents, countless parents have come and told me about 9 weeks of supplementation later, the large extent of viral sore throats or viral sinus disease which children suffer, they've all disappeared. We should realize, why do we call a cold a cold? Cold is a virus activator. There are dormant viruses in our throat, and when children drink ice, this virus gets activated and they get a sore throat. And then, of course, we immediately go and give antibiotics, which is not the way because it is primarily a viral infection. What do I tell parents? The moment you give a child something ice or cold, come back home and drink half a glass of hot water. To a large extent, this viral activation will not happen. So therefore, I want to re-emphasize very clearly, because my belief is that in the initial 48 hours, when the person feels that he is infected, do we have this as an interventional therapeutic option advocated by anybody as of now? No. In the first 48 hours, frequently keep sipping hot water till you start sweating. Maintain that for 48 hours. The body gets a fighting chance to fight. The viral replication will stop. The body will fight the virus and clear it. Now, if this was done, it is my opinion, not the protocol advocated by anybody, that the unfortunate and very sad large number of deaths we are seeing across the world should cease. And second, we should have a clear focus on increasing immunity. Do we have immune enhancement program at all? We don't. We should look at immune enhancement by asking patients either to supplement or take these natural foods. I repeat again, sprouts, lime, fresh lime, black raisins, and the seeds of papaya or watermelon, because they contribute adequate zinc. If they can't, they can also supplement which are readily available. Maybe the doctors will. But that is the way. It is so sad. What do we now do? We wait for a testing. When will the patient test? After the initial 8 to 10 days of incubation. Then when the patient starts manifesting, at that time only will the test become positive. And beyond that, when the body starts fighting, it starts to develop antibodies which later become positive. That is too late. Because what happens when the body realizes that too much of virus replication is happening in the lungs, the body will try to shut it down by releasing what is called a cytokine storm. That is a little complicated, and now science is trying to fight that cytokine storm, but by which time the lungs are so much destroyed. My treatment I am advocating is in the initial 48 hours. My feeling and opinion is that if it is done, the large, terrible epidemic of deaths which we are witnessing the world over can be prevented. Now, what is my take on this? If by doing this, in the start itself, if they have a premonition or a prodromal symptom, a slight fever, body ache, sore throat, and they start this hot water drinking, not a single death should happen. If it happens, it means my opinion is wrong and I will retract my advocacy.
Already infected, and he has already reached to the stage of 8th or 9th day. And like now, we have just heard that today the government has given permission to the one of the hospitals in Kerala to use the plasma of those who have already been cured. What is your take about that?
So it again reverts to what I had earlier advocated. Why do we take the plasma of patients who are cured? Why are they getting cured? Because their immune system is good. Today we feel that who are the ones who are most susceptible? They are the ones who have a comorbid condition, diabetes, heart disease, hypertension. But what is the main problem in them? A decreased immunity. So my argument is, instead of waiting for an illness and instead of all this, why don't we increase the immunity? If the immune system is vastly enhanced, this susceptibility should not happen. So now what are we doing now? A patient who has recovered means he has got a good immune system, and we take the blood of that patient, if it is compatible, then or the serum, and then we inject into those who are suffering. That is a good idea, but by the time it is too late actually, and only God can help. I wish that by the divine's intervention, patients will survive. Now, there have been patients who have been cured by this technique, I know.
In 1890, when the diphtheria came, and at that time there were no antibiotics in the world, at that time these techniques were used and many patients were saved. What you say about that?
That is true because they are applying the same principle of an enhanced immunity. There are some people whose immune system is good either because of their dietary pattern or they have looked into it, and therefore, as a consequence of enhanced immunity, they are able to fight it.
Do you think that this therapy can be used prophylactic also for those who doesn't have any disease right now, but if they will be given this?
I certainly will not advocate this as a prophylactic, because my advocacy will be only enhance the natural immune system of the human body by giving what the body requires to fight it. I repeat again, what are the natural ingredients? Amino acids, iron, vitamin C, zinc. If a person has adequate of this, his natural immunity will be far superior instead of devolving back to this plasma therapy. No, I will not agree with that as a prophylactic.
But for the treatment, let's see, because it is going to start from today, hopefully, and let's see what will be the results. Because
because we have had patients who have recovered. It is logical because we have taken the serum of a patient who has recovered, which means he's got a good immune system, and giving it to patients who do not have the requisite immune system. So perhaps because many patients have recovered by this, maybe they will respond. Now, there is one take I would like to clarify because there is a huge phenomenon of hydroxychloroquine.
Everywhere, hydroxychloroquine is been advocating, and why we are not taking this as a prophylactic or for the treatment. What is your take about this?
So the thing is, I was the first one who read the original report by that eminent immunologist Rauf in south of France. The moment I saw that report, I advocated to everybody to take hydroxychloroquine and azithromycin. But we failed to realize one terrible thing, that concurrently, jointly, they have an effect on the heart's conductive system, and as a consequence cause the conductive block causing arrhythmia or death. As you know, recently, about 2 weeks back, a doctor who was taking it as a prophylactic had a heart arrest and died. There are several doctors who have had heart trouble or death because of hydroxychloroquine. Now, how can we prevent that from happening? It is a conductive block, and therefore earlier research reveals that while taking hydroxychloroquine, you must also supplement omega-3. To a large extent, omega-3 will protect the conducting mechanism and prevent this terrible fatality which happens as a consequence of us trying to protect from this disease by this drug. So anybody taking hydroxychloroquine, number one, he must have a prophylactic or an initial heart ECG, an ECG showing that the QT interval is not less than 225 millimeter. It should be not less than 225. If it is so, it is highly risky for the individual to take that drug. Second, if they are taking it, they must also take omega-3 tablets. In which case, to a large extent, I believe they will be protected.
Doctor, you have mentioned about the L-throcin along with the hydroxychloroquine. If we will take only the hydroxychloroquine, then what will be the impact?
Hydroxychloroquine is now taken by many doctors and health workers primarily as a prophylactic. Why did they add azithromycin? Because azithromycin has an eminent action on the lungs. Now, as you know, the most common complication of the coronavirus is lung infection and pathological developments. Because azithromycin has an action there, it is also added. But there is a little bit of caution I would like to advise. Azithromycin has caused agranulocytosis in a few patients and they have died as a consequence of azithromycin. So we need to be very careful and we need to be monitoring these patients minutely before we can advocate it as a long-term or a large-scale treatment.
That there is a feeling that whosoever has taken the BCG, anti-tubercular vaccine, initial stage in the childhood, they have a more resistance power against this coronavirus. What is your opinion about that?
Sir, I read about that. The thing about BCG is because it is a vaccine, it triggers the immune system, allowing it to increase its production of both T and B cells. But my argument against is I have treated countless number of individuals for both viral sinus disease, viral sore throat by just enhancing the immune system naturally and then by asking them to sip hot water. So therefore, why should we revert to a vaccine and attempt wherein which we can actually enhance the immune system by the way nature is intended it to be. Millions of years by a natural immune mechanism we have survived on earth. So millions of years. So why should we therefore look at the current thought of BCG and other things? I will not advocate that. I only will advise the general public because there is a small little report that happened. They looked into those who died at a later age, and they found that those people had a lower level of blood zinc. Now, if that is said to be true, it is true for the larger population. We do not have adequate zinc containing foods in our diet, zinc being the second pillar cornerstone of immunity. This is what we should do, and we should not advocate BCG and other things. No.
So according to you, to increase the immunity, we should have a zinc tablet or something like that?
Iron which comes from black raisins or black dates, vitamin C that comes from fresh lime, amino acids that come from sprouted grains, and zinc which is found to be rich in papaya, watermelon seeds.
Okay, so according to you, it's all natural thing which
Yes.
can increase our immunity, correct?
Yes.
Today, Dr. Devan clarified the doubts about coronavirus, and you have mentioned that instead of going for such type of treatments, so what is prevailing right now, why not a very simple thing, if we will increase our immunity by taking those things which are naturally available, one can have, and at initial stage you feel that you have a sore throat or slight temperature, increase the body temperature by sipping the hot water, and otherwise increase intake of omega-3 by natural things like what you have already explained. One can survive in this present scenario. Thank you very much, Dr. Devan, for coming on this show, which was brought especially by News Karnataka, V4 News, Global TV, and Organ Donation India Foundation. Thank you very
The
much.
thing is, if by this talk and your wonderful questions and my responses, if we can avoid the terrible deaths that are happening around the world, we will be blessed.
That's what our aim is. Thank you very much, Doctor, for giving your...
Thank you so much. Thank you very much.